Kia ora, welcome to Central News for Tuesday the 8th of April. I'm Anne-Marie Case-Miller. 4 appeals have been lodged against the Eastern Bay of Plenty's provisional local alcohol policy, which was publicly notified in February this year. These are from Hospitality New Zealand Incorporated, Foodstuffs North Island Limited, The Mill Retail Holdings and Independent Liquor New Zealand Limited, and Super Liquor Holdings. The Eastern Bay of Plenty local alcohol policy is the collaborative work of the Whakatane, Opotiki and Kaurarau district councils. The policy aims to reduce alcohol-related harm across the 3 districts while balancing the economic benefits of related activities throughout the Eastern Bay of Plenty. The appeals cover a range of concerns, including opening hours and one-way door restrictions. And Opotiki District Council Planning and Regulatory Manager Barbara Dempsey said the local alcohol policy won't become effective until the appeals are resolved through a public process. The 3 councils hoped to resolve the issues directly with the appealants. Any outstanding matters will go to a formal hearing later this year. Western Bay of Plenty surf lifesavers have put away the red and yellow patrol flags for another season, but not without undertaking a final number of RIP-related rescues at the weekend. Strong swells hitting the Mount Maunganui coast on Saturday and Sunday caused wave surges up to the top of the beach high tide mark and strong rips to form in parts. The 6-month patrol season officially came to an end at 4 p.m. on Sunday for all clubs, with no drownings on the patrolled stretch of the beach from Mount Maunganui to Papamoa. The long-term effects of traumatic brain injuries will be studied by researchers from the University of Waikato and staff from the National Institute for Stroke and Applied Neurosciences at AUT. From an earlier study of over 1,000 people, about half have agreed to be surveyed again 4 years after diagnosis of their initial injury. Waikato University's Associate Professor Nicholas Starkey says they want to find out what can be done to help adults and children recover better. While most head injuries can't be stopped, the researchers want to know who are most likely to have ongoing symptoms and what treatments or behaviours have helped others to recover successfully. The study will have its official launch at the University of Waikato next Tuesday, April the 15th. University of Waikato Tauranga lecturer Nadine Ballum graduates with her PhD this week, becoming the first student to have studied from undergraduate to doctoral level entirely at the university in Tauranga. She began her Bachelor of Teaching in 2004 and her PhD focuses on the experiences of gifted and talented young people from low socio-economic environments in New Zealand and seeks to determine how they were able to achieve and succeed despite the often challenging environments in which they grew up. Ms. Ballum says all said that having good relationships with family and teachers was the most valuable factor in being able to identify opportunities to develop their talent. Tauranga campus graduation, where 174 qualifications will be conferred, is this Friday, the 11th of April at Holy Trinity in Devonport Road from 2 p.m. The graduation parade leaves Red Square at 1:15. Make sure you give them a toot if you see them. Taking a look at the marine forecast now, and the Raglan should have a rough sea. It should ease, however, early Wednesday to 15 knots everywhere. A moderate southwest swell should ease on Wednesday with a high tide 28 minutes past 5 tomorrow morning. Tauranga expect a variable of 10 knots with high tide 12 minutes past 2. Still to come, we meet the new meerkats at Hamilton Zoo and speak with Anna Stretton regarding her latest initiative, the Raw Foundation. That's next on Central News. Welcome back to Central News. Fashion designer Anna Stretton has launched a mentoring program for female victims of domestic abuse. The scheme is called Reclaiming Another Woman, or RAW for short. It pairs abused women wanting to start a new life with a female mentor who helps them to get there. I spoke with Anna and Crystal to find out more about the mentoring program and find out how it works.
Yeah, it's a very simple program. We're essentially connecting a significant other, so someone like myself, and they don't have to be, I suppose, successful, high profile in business. It's just someone that has all their ducks in a row and is living a different life as to say someone like Crystal would live. We match them with a woman in the RAW program, so someone that's come from, I suppose, Crystal's side of the fence versus someone who's come from my side of the fence. So it's really simple, the concept. We just take one woman and get them to walk alongside another woman, and that's for a duration. So it's not something you do for a couple of months and then kind of flick it or decide whether you want to or not. So there's a very robust process of application that's on our website, raw.org.nz, and from there we kind of consider the matching. The matching's very important as well because they've actually got to be able to work together. They've got to suit each other, and that's from a personality and an agenda point of view. So robust process, but simple concept, really simple concept, and good longevity around it as well. That's important. You've got to be able to walk the distance, but I think most of these women will walk for life. I really think they'll walk for life.
Crystal, just 4 months ago, your life was very different. Tell me about that.
4 months ago, my life was refuge, kids, drugs.
If you had to put into words what Anna and the RAW Foundation have given you, what would you say?
You can't describe it, what she's given me. I don't think words are enough to even describe how much she's given me. There is no words that can match it. It's more or less feelings. So there's no words that can describe how much she's given me. And really, I wouldn't be able to come up with anything.
Anna, how would you answer that question?
Oh, look, I'd answer that question very differently to Crystal. I'd say that it's about a self-belief, it's about a confidence, it's about it's about taking opportunities as they present. It's knowing that she can live another life. It's trusting herself. You know, the day that we went down to Wellington and had an amazing day meeting with incredibly capable people, and we flew back into Hamilton that night, and she stood out on the pavement and turned to me and said, "I love you." That was the moment that I knew that this model is really working. It really is. So I absolutely know that she can achieve anything that she wants. She can be me. She can be me. And so getting her to think like that is my gift to her. You know, that is the gift that I gave to my own daughter. That is the gift that I give to Crystal.
Do the women who receive mentoring have to be referred from the Women's Refuge?
No, they don't. They can come from any walk of life or any space and place. It's just women that are going through similar sorts of challenges that would perhaps see you consider refuge. So it is about domestic violence, it is about the bullying, it is about the verbal violence. It's all of those things that are playing out in your family and in the environment that you're in with that significant other that you're with that are not palatable and are not conducive to you living a great life. All women deserve to live the life they love, all women.
So how do they apply? How do they get help?
It's so easy. You just got to get onto the website or get onto the internet, and you know, and if you don't have that sort of facility in your own home, there's always access to websites, and email us. Just email us, and we'll start the conversations with you from there. So it's just raw.org.nz.
How is RAW funded? I'm guessing it's not just milk and honey.
No, it's not running on milk and honey, and it just requires manpower, I suppose, at the moment, and physical space, safe spaces for mentors and mentorees to meet. But from my point of view, it was about creating a foundation this year, the Stretton Foundation, and the RAW initiative, or the RAW organisation, which is a not-for-profit charitable trust, was the first initiative to come out of the foundation. So Stretton Clothing is funding it, so thankfully I'm very good at making money out of selling frocks.
And you've got a fabulous RAW fashion collection too.
Yes, we have, and the initiator of that was my daughter and one of the young designers at work, so that's incredibly exciting for her to actually put together her first collection. I'm hoping that she will be my ultimate succession plan as I move more into the foundation and the work that I intend to do through the foundation. So to put together a collection that not only has, I suppose, the feel and the flavour is about raw edges, raw colours, raw sort of themes, but it's very young as well. So unfortunately, it's a lot of young women that are in the RAW program, but I suppose that's a good thing too, because we get women at the start of their lives, but it's very young women that seem to be in these very difficult and violent situations, and they're women that have, you know, 2 to 4 children and more. So for me, making that change and also having a voice through fashion is nice, and it's a voice through fashion that relates to the demographic that would perhaps, you know, that is part of RAW. So it's a younger flavoured collection, and it certainly had some wonderful exposure through the media, and it's wonderful to have Sam involved as well, because it is her life, not only the fashion, but I hope too the philanthropic arm as well.
Crystal, if someone was watching who is in need of help, what would you say?
Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to ask for help. It's okay.
Anna, what's your message to them?
Well, I'd say that we need to change the way that we actually look at refuge. So there's no stigma attached to a woman that considers or wants to enter refuge. We should see entering refuge as actually the start of your life, the start of wanting change, the start of wanting to be something different. And RAW has certainly opened up that playing field. So for me, I'd like people to think about how they can change their life. And maybe it is about stepping through refuge initially so that they can settle themselves down, get their kids into a safe haven, and then start talking to an initiative like RAW.
If you or someone you know needs help, go to raw.org.nz or phone Women's Refuge on 0800 Refuge. Still to come, we find out about Ballyfull in Hamilton and find out more about the newest additions to the Hamilton Zoo. Welcome back to Central News. Ballyfull supplies free meals to families with babies under 3 months and families in crisis, particularly those with a child or parent in hospital or those going through difficult personal circumstances. Megan Thorne from Ballyfull in Hamilton explains how Ballyfull began.
Ballyfull was started in 2009 by a lady named Jackie Ritchie, who lives in Franklin. She had moved to Franklin, or moved to Pukekohe I should say, when she was pregnant with her first baby. And so when she had her first baby, she realised, she didn't have a massive support network around her. She didn't have family that lived in the town, all of that kind of thing. She'd worked in Auckland, so she hadn't built up a close support network. And he wasn't a very good sleeper. And sort of things sort of rolled on, and she ended up not feeling very well, but of postnatal depression, things like that. 4 years later, she had her second baby, and in that time, she'd built up a great support network of friends in Pukekohe. She belonged to the local church. She had a great support network around her. And when she had baby number 2, she was overwhelmed by the help, the sense of community, with people bringing her meals, people that she barely knew, turning up with meals every night, through the first few weeks of the new baby's life. And she thought, wouldn't it be great if that same sense of community and that little weeny bit of support could be replicated and done at different places all over New Zealand. So Franklin was the first branch. And now we have 19 branches. These 19 branches stretching from North Shore as the furthest north through to Invercargill, and Hamilton.
What area is covered by the Hamilton Ballyfull base?
Okay, so the idea is that when our volunteers deliver meals, because the meals are all delivered by volunteers, that they don't drive longer than 15 minutes to do that delivery. And there's a couple of reasons for that. One is that we don't want volunteers to be driving a long distance because they're not reimbursed as such for vehicle costs. But the other is that the meals are frozen. So when we cook the meals, we freeze them down. And we need to make sure that they get out of the freezer and get back into the freezer as fast as possible. So we deliver within a 15-minute radius from the centre of Hamilton.
Now, every month you have a cook-a-thon and you make 3 different meals. Tell me about this process. Okay, so we do 3 quite basic meals,
basic and nutritious. So nutritious because they're often feeding mums who are breastfeeding or needing to look after the rest of family. And also we're often feeding younger family members, so they need to be quite basic meals that they'll be liking as well. We do a lasagna, we do a macaroni cheese, and we do a bolognese sauce. And with each delivery, we deliver enough of each of those 3 meals to feed a whole family for 3 nights.
Now, you not only cook meals, you also fundraise to buy the ingredients. Tell me about your fundraising.
Okay, so we do all sorts of different types of fundraising. We do a lot of bake sales at markets. We've done sausage sizzles. We've had movie nights, and we've just run our most successful fundraiser ever, which was a night called Girls' Night Out. So it was a nice chance for girls to get a few friends together and have a bit of a night out. We had lots of entertainment, we had canapes, and we had bubbles, and we had lots of local and national actually business owners who had stalls, but not stalls selling things, they were stalls that were doing things on the night. So people could get manicure, pedicure, makeover, some people got glamour shots done, all sorts of things, advice for what to do with your hair, all sorts of things like that. So it was a real girls' night out. And that was very, very successful. We're hoping to make that an annual event. It was great.
What's the process to receiving a meal?
So the process to receiving a meal is that someone needs to make a referral, and anyone can refer anyone for a Ballyful meal. People either send an email, refer through the website, or call our 0508 Ballyful number and then go through the menu options to get to Hamilton. And that kicks off the process. So once we have a referral, the family has to know that they've been referred as well and be okay with that. And then we contact the family and get all the details that we need to make sure we get the right meals to them, right number of meals to them, and to the right place.
How many meals would you make a month?
That depends on demand as well. So when we first started, probably in the first year, we were doing probably about an average of around about 30 or so meals to about 7 families a month. But we've grown massively in the last year. So in our busiest month, actually in this last year, we did 175 meals to 19 families. And it was probably actually 175 more deliveries as such, but sometimes we deliver more than once to a family. So some of those families got 2 or 3 meals over that month. So when we're that busy, sometimes when we get together to do a cook-a-thon, we'll cook 120 meals. When we're not so busy, we'll cook 60 meals.
Do you need more volunteers?
We always need more volunteers. There's all sorts of different ways that you can volunteer with Ballyful Hamilton. Some people like to just come along and help at the cook-a-thons, so they might come once a month or once every 6 weeks, depending on how often we do a cook-a-thon, and help us out on the night there. We also have people who help with fundraising. We have people who help with prepping for cook-a-thons. We have people who help with delivering meals. We always need more volunteers. And if anyone is interested in volunteering, actually a really great place to go is our Facebook page, and that's Ballyful Hamilton. And just drop a message through the Facebook page and someone will get in touch with you and give you more information and let you know what you need. Or else you can volunteer through the Ballyful website with a message directly to the Hamilton branch. Or you can call 0508 Ballyful and come through to Hamilton and leave a message via that phone line.
Megan, thanks for everything you do and thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.
For more details, go to the Facebook page for Ballyful Hamilton or ballyful.org.nz. Up next on Central News, we meet Hamilton Zoo's newest additions, the gorgeous baby meerkats. Welcome back to Central News. Perhaps best known from the telecom ad with their quirky expressions and short, sharp head movements, the meerkats are firm favourites at the Hamilton Zoo. I went along to the zoo to meet the very cute, very small, newest members of the meerkat family and asked how they're adjusting to zoo life.
They've adjusted really well. Yeah, they spend the first few days at least in their dens where we don't interrupt them at all, so we didn't actually know whether they were actually there or not. We just suspected because of the adults' behaviour, but it is the only life they know. They have developed really well into really confident little characters individually.
They were born blind and semi-hairless, but meerkats mature very quickly, don't they?
They do. They do. Like being a wild mammal, obviously they need to get up and develop very, very quickly. Otherwise, it's a very vulnerable stage of life when they're really young. So they develop as quick as they can so that they can be up and moving and defend themselves if they have to.
Will the babies form part of the zoo's breeding program?
We don't know yet. It will depend on the species coordinator. They will let us know whether their genetics are best placed here to continue breeding or whether they will go to another zoo, possibly here, maybe Australia, to form another gang or a mob somewhere else for breeding. It'll just be where their genetics are best placed, and that'll be analysed by the species coordinator.
Do we know if they're boys or girls yet? When are we going to find out?
Hopefully soon. We like to leave them to develop into confident individuals before we catch them up, so they need to kind of be a part of the mob before we catch them up and kind of prod them and assess that sort of thing. So it will be soon because they are becoming quite confident. Hopefully, we'll know, but not as of yet.
Meerkats have quite a mob mentality, don't they?
That's right, they do. The mob is it's a very social group, and it's basically safety in numbers. These guys are so small, they can get taken out by raptors, and that's a huge threat to them, a major predator. So they need to live in a mob kind of situation to protect one another. So there's always one on guard, as you can see here, and the rest of them can basically forage and relax while there's one on guard, and then they swap. So somebody's always watching out to protect their mob.
Why is the meerkat so special?
Because they're so cute. They're a great kind of advocate species for captive mammals. People love them. They love to come and see them, watch them. I guess their kind of social interactions and social behaviour is a really cool kind of thing to do with them as well. It's really interesting and really entertaining to watch, and it's just a bit special.
For more details on all the animals at Hamilton Zoo, go to hamiltonzoo.co.nz. Time to take a look at the weather for Wednesday now. And firstly for the Waikato, Hamilton fine with southeasterlies and a high of 25 degrees down to a low of 12 overnight. Pāroa fine, maybe an afternoon shower with 25 your high. Matamata expecting a high of 23. Te Awamutu 25 and Tokoroa 22 with a low of 12 overnight. Taking a look at the Bay of Plenty, and Tauranga can expect a fine Wednesday with light winds, a high of 23 degrees, dropping to a low of 16 overnight. Te Puke, fine Wednesday in store for you, 22 degrees your high. That's Central News for today. Make sure you like us on our Facebook page and let us know if there's news or an event in your community. Thanks for joining me. I'm Anne-Marie Case-Miller. I'll catch you back tomorrow. Ka kite anō.
This has been an Alpha Media production, a division of Television Media Group.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.